And next we have Kathleen.
Hi there. I have been regional vice president for the Eastern region, which is Williamsburg, et cetera, all the way to Newport News since 2019. And I've published a number of books of poetry. The earliest ones were actually haiku and tanka and rinku. And then I moved into more free forms and Western style verse when I came east. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. And you'll need to start admitting people because I can't do it. Okay. So there we go. Okay. So I call myself a fabric poet, but you're going to see more than just fabric. And so the first one, I'm a very serious person, but this is one of the least serious things I've done, and I just loved it. So this is from a book that I wrote based on a poem that I wrote, and then Terry Cox Joseph, who's the current president of Poetry Society of Virginia, illustrated it. And it was highly collaborative, the illustration process. Because I had ideas about the animals, and then Terry had some funny ideas about how to make them cute. Because this is a children's book. It's also a STEM book or a STEAM book. It has several pages of science at the back of it. But it's called Fishmas, 12 Days of Christmas by the Sea. And I've been to schools, and Terry has come to some of them with me, and we actually sing it with the kids, but I'm not going to sing it because I don't, I'm not confident enough that my singing voice has lasted the test of time. So I'll just read you the last page of the book with all the critters. On the 12th day of Fishmas, I saw by the sea 12 red drum drumming, 11 sandpipers pecking, 10 lord fish lurking, 9 ladyfish leaping, 8 mai swimming, 7 swans a skimming, 6 geese a flying, 5 golden warblers, 4 cormorants calling, 3 fish schooling, 2 turtles nesting, and a seagull in a palm tree. And here are Terry's wonderful critters, all 12 of them. We call this Sandy the seagull. He's, or she, I picked a unisex name, wearing a baseball cap. And we got lord fish and turtles. And so the facts at the end of the book help the kids learn a little science in a fun sort of a way. So my next one is called Fleeing Fresh Fish. And this is one of my art quilts. And so this involves using embroidery, applique, and quilting. And this is actually a very small piece. It's 12 inches square. And it was accepted, it was juried in and accepted by the Studio Art Quilters Associates in 2021 and published in a book which is called Fresh Fish. And I wrote a poem to go with it, and they paired this quilt with another poem, but this was the poem that I wrote to go with it. And this, by the way, if you don't know, is a lionfish. Fleeing Florida waters, fresh fish seek sanctuary. Forewarned, I follow. Sailing south, hunting lionfish that ruin the reef, decimate its denizens. Spear in hand, swimming slowly, peering through the depths for its brilliant red-plumed fins that hide venomous spines. My reward, a larger lobster license, and the satisfaction of fighting an invader. And I like to say that this is one of these true stories, except for the fact that I've never hunted lionfish, but they really are destroying the reefs in Florida, and there really is a bounty, and you really do get a larger lobster license if you kill them. The next poem is part of an exhibit which will be at the Muse Writing Center in from May 1, 2023 to June 1, 2023, which is in Norfolk, Virginia, as one of 42 poems and art reverse ekphrastic project that I'm co-curating with Terry Cox Joseph. So obviously this is not a quilt, this is a fracture picture, which is where you take a photo and have it printed on glass. And so I actually took a photo of the beach with the seagull here, and maybe that's Sandy, I'm not quite sure. But I photoshopped in this pile of shells, and you'll see why in a second. It's called Virginia Beach. Roving for hours, searching for sea life, she spots treasure. Among millions of broken fragments of clams, scallops, and mussels, a lone whelk shell, smoothed by tide, flecked with wormholes, cracked, its sinistral shape preserved, proud crown intact, tapered waist, pointed tip, the predator inside, missing, an empty shell lying among its bivalve prey, as seagulls swagger in the surf in keen victory over all. And the next one, depending on time, the next one is kind of funny because I wrote a poem weeks ago and then forgotten I'd written it to go with this. So the quilt came first on this one. This is a quilt which was exhibited virtually on the American Geophysical Union's meeting in 2021. And the subject was solar storms and their effect on the Earth. And so the first poem, and let me just say a word about the quilting. This is actually metallic fiber. So the background is cloth, cotton cloth. And then I've used quilting lines with metallic and silk and polyester thread. And then this is actually melted metallic fiber that you have to stitch on. And this is blue cording, and that was hand stitched on. And of course, that's a wool applique that's supposed to look like the Earth. So solar storm, almost never. Storm of solar storms, pink aura over Norwegian fjords, and as far south as Pennsylvania farmland. Its pastel fingertips belie the magnetic fury of its charged grip. A near miss, its energy can devastate atmosphere and electronics with equal carelessness. Earth's magnetosphere deflected particles that would rip holes in the fabric of our world. Almost never. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn seem to align in their orbits around the sun less than once a century, a parade of planets visible to the naked eye. Our solar gods and goddesses reminding us that we are connected and mere mortals. A year of almost nevers and near misses that so few noticed. So if we have time later, I'll read the second solar poem that I wrote. And this next one is one of my funny poems, and I'm not a funny person, but I like Fishmas. This is another one where I wanted to be humorous. And this, in order to see this quilt, I had to turn it sideways. You can tell it's 4 feet long by 2 feet wide, and the hearts, of course, would be upright if it were vertical. It's called Meeting of the Minds. Meeting of the Minds. Mr. Linear meets Ms. Multitasker. Why can't you stick to the point? Why can't you see the whole picture? His mind. Every piece of information is in a box connected by lines and boxes opened one at a time. Her mind. There is a link between each theme and another, a fluid arc of connections, seamless stream of information. Frustrated, staring, glaring, they pause. Then, slowly reaching across the gap, grasping hands, they fall silent as hearts connect when minds cannot. And this quilt was exhibited in a regional exhibit of the Studio Art Quilters Associates in 2022. This next one, I am a big fan of Kandinsky. I love all of his paintings. And this was a painting that was exhibited at the Mancuso Mid-Atlantic Quilt Show in 2022. And the challenge that we gave ourselves in this group of art quilters was to take a painting by a famous artist, and we had a list of about 10, and I insisted that Kandinsky become one of the 10, and then we were going to reinterpret that as fiber art. And so Blue Rider is, of course, the school of poetry and thought that Kandinsky and a couple others founded, and he made numerous paintings about and including a Blue Rider. This is the 1909 version, and it's fairly faithful to the original. And so what you'll see here is that there's a painting on this fabric, as well as applique, quilting, and all kinds of shapes going on. So Blue Rider, burning bright, Golden sun rays highlight the rich primary colors on the rider's journey, eschewing materialism, galloping into a purer future, soaring over green hills and puny concerns with equal alacrity. The horse trusts his rider. The path is unexplored, but she fears not, so he is fearless too. Together they rise to redraft a return to nature and rebirth of spiritual values. And I'm going to cut it there to make sure we have enough time. So
Thank you so much, Kathleen. I really appreciate all the different approaches that you have, and also that you've given us specifics about the fibers. And the variety of media that you're using in one piece. Thank you.